Welcome to the chat on Newsday Amarillo and News Channel 10-2. I'm David Lovejoy.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Rhonda Leonard.
I'm Chuckalicious Chuck Williams.
And join us, an old friend of ours stops by to talk, author and entrepreneur Thomas Fellows. He's got his fourth book out now, Mrs. Dubose's Last Wish and the Art of Embracing Suffering. It's based on a little-known character in To Kill a Mockingbird who suffers on purpose to rid herself of morphine addiction. This is really going down the road of what Thomas kind of highlights, and it's about behavioral health and suicide and how to get those steps into the help you need. Thomas, thank you for joining us this morning.
Yes, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, this book is very intriguing just on the little bit that I know about it, and it's very timely. With it being Mental Health Awareness Month, Behavioral Health Awareness Month. Talk to us about how you came about writing a story such as this.
Yes, so I would say this book is based off two books, The Road to Character by David Brooks. In that book, David Brooks says we shoot for happiness before and through suffering. He also says that recovering from suffering is different from recovering from disease. You don't come out healed, you come out different. Then there's, of course, To Kill a Mockingbird, which is written by Harper Lee. And in that book, there's a little-known character named Mrs. Dubose, and she suffers on purpose to rid herself of morphine addiction. And I make the claim throughout the book that the best suffer on purpose to achieve true greatness.
It sounds, to me, as though embracing and suffering, they're at odds with each other. How can one help the other? I mean, you embrace suffering. Oh, I love it. What's up?
Well, I would say the more pain you go through, the more empathy you can build up. And the more empathy you have, the better off you're able to read people. So next time you go through pain, know that you'll make the world a better place and be more successful in your job, because whatever job you have to you have to be able to read people to be successful. So I have a mentor of mine who I've mentioned before named Bill McDermott, who was the third highest paid CEO at $165 million, and he came from lower middle class. And he taught me that nice guys don't finish last, they finish first. There's also a lyric from a Dave Matthews song, Mercy, where Dave Matthews says, love is not a whisper of weakness, no love is strong, and that is so true.
Thomas, in this book and in this road, in your previous writings, it used to be a big stigma to say, I'm having an issue, I'm having a problem, I feel weak in this area. You have said, listen, this is really you embracing the suffering, isn't it? Because you will stand up and say, listen, sometimes I struggle with this. Is it freeing for you? Is it like taking a weight off your chest?
It's not only freeing, it's beneficial. Because if every single day was 75 degrees and sunny, there'd be no such thing as good weather. Nasir Ghani, who wrote the foreword for this book, talks about how suffering brings out joy that much more.
It's sort of like Sun Tzu, the yin and the yang. You can't have good unless you have bad.
Yes.
It's just the way it is. Nobody gets lollipops every day. But I applaud you, because we still have that stigma in some cases in our society. So I applaud you for saying, listen, this is something we have to be honest about. This. We all fight this on a daily basis.
Yes.
We all do.
Well, I use different religions throughout the book. I use Christianity. I use the book of Job. I also have a quote from the Quran, 94:5, verily with every difficulty there is relief. I also have a quote from a famous Hindu philosopher named Tagore, and have some Buddhism in there. So I want this book to be accessible to all. So one thing that Nasir Ghani talks about in his book, A First-Rate Madness, he talks about if one of his patients who said, being suicidal is a terrifying experience, knowing that somebody is trying to kill you and that somebody is you. So it's very, very scary, but the best thing you can do is to reach out for help. It's not a sign of weakness to be suicidal. It's not a sign of weakness to be depressed. Your brain chemistry is just off, and just know that what you're going through is temporary.
Did you feel when you were writing this that this would reach out more to people that do struggle with mental illness, or was it more designed to create the empathy for those that, and I can't imagine anybody that doesn't struggle with some level, but those who don't necessarily deal with it on a large scale? Which camp did you think this would touch most?
Well, I was unemployed. This book came about because I was unemployed for basically about 16 months. And it was some of the most, painful experience I've ever been through in my life. But again, the pain brings out the joy. And again, if every single day was 75 or 80 degrees and sunny, there would be no such thing as good weather.
Thomas, real quickly, can you tell us where we can find this installment, your fourth book here?
Yes, Barnes & Noble and also on Amazon.
All right, Thomas Fellows, check him out. He's got a lot to say and an interesting way of saying it. His newest book, Mrs. Dubose's Last Wish, The Art of Embracing Suffering. Happy Memorial Day, Mr. Fellows. Look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Yes, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Anytime. Check that out. Mrs. Dubose's Last Wish, The Art of Embracing Suffering. We'll take a quick break. We're back with more chat on Newsday Amarillo, News Channel 10-2.